Zuleika's magical tree. Far away in the endless desert of Saudi Arabia, where the golden sand stretches as far as the eye can see and the sun burns fiercely every day, there lived a kind-hearted girl named Zuleika. Her home was a small camp hidden among the dunes, where her tribe had lived for generations. Zuleika's father was the chief of the tribe, and their life in the desert was quiet and simple. They rarely saw visitors, as their camp was far from any towns or cities. Even animals were a rare sight in the scorching heat. One bright afternoon, as Zuleika played in the soft sand near their tent, she noticed something unusual in the distance. A lone rider on a camel was making his way slowly across the dunes.
"Mother! Father!"
Zuleika shouted, running into the tent.
"Someone is coming! There's a rider in the dunes!"
Her father stepped outside and looked into the distance. Sure enough, a man on a camel was approaching their camp. The villagers quickly gathered, curious and excited to see who the visitor might be. When the rider finally arrived, he bowed politely and said,
"Greetings! I am a messenger from Sheikh Ben Nedi. The Sheikh will pass through this desert tomorrow and wishes to visit your tribe. May I tell him that he is welcome?"
Zuleika's father smiled warmly.
"He will be our honored guest. Please tell him we will prepare everything for his arrival."
The messenger was given water and food before he continued his journey. Meanwhile, the entire tribe got to work. It was their tradition to treat every guest with the greatest kindness and hospitality. No effort was spared when welcoming someone to their home. That evening, the camp was buzzing with activity. The women cooked delicious meals, the men polished their finest weapons, and gifts were chosen for the sheikh. Zuleika's mother folded a beautiful silk scarf, while her father prepared an elegant sword as a gift. Everyone seemed to have something special to offer, everyone except Zuleika.
"What's wrong, my dear?"
Her mother asked gently when she noticed Zuleika sitting quietly by herself.
"I don't have a gift for the sheikh,"
Zuleika replied sadly.
"I want to give him something, but I have nothing to offer."
Her mother smiled and said,
"Don't worry, Zuleika. Children aren't expected to give gifts. The sheikh will still be happy to meet you."
But Zuleika didn't feel any better. She didn't want to be left out. She wanted to make the sheikh feel welcome, just like everyone else. As the sun set, Zuleika walked to the old well at the edge of the camp. She sat down beside it and let out a sigh. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she whispered to herself,
"I wish I had something special to give."
Suddenly, a soft, shimmering light rose from the well. A beautiful water fairy appeared, her body wrapped in flowing silks that sparkled like tiny stars.
"Why are you crying, Zuleika?"
The fairy asked in a gentle voice. Zuleika wiped her tears and explained,
"The sheikh is coming to visit, and everyone has a gift for him but me. I want to show him how happy I am to have him as our guest, but I have nothing to give."
The fairy smiled kindly.
Do not be sad, Zuleika. Your heart is full of kindness, and that is more precious than any gift. Come back to the well tomorrow morning, and where your tears have fallen, you will find something special.
Before Zuleika could say another word, the fairy disappeared into the well. That night, Zuleika could hardly sleep. She tossed and turned, imagining what the fairy's promise might mean. As soon as the first rays of sunlight touched the sand, she jumped up and ran to the well. What she saw made her gasp in amazement. Right where her tears had fallen, a tall, beautiful tree had grown overnight. Its thick trunk stood strong, and its green leaves spread out like a fan. Clusters of golden brown fruit hung from its branches, glistening in the morning light.
A date palm!
Zuleika exclaimed. She had never seen a tree like this in the desert before. She picked a few of the sweet-smelling fruits and hurried back to her parents. When her father and mother saw the tree, they were astonished. Soon, the entire tribe came to admire it, tasting the delicious dates and marveling at its beauty. Later that day, Sheikh Ben Nedi arrived at the camp. He was greeted with a grand feast. Plates of roasted lamb, bowls of fragrant rice, and glasses of sweet mint tea were presented to him. The villagers also gave their precious gifts, the sword, the silk scarf, and other treasures. Finally, Zuleika stepped forward. She took the sheikh's hand and led him to the magical date palm.
This is my gift.
She said.
It grew from the tears I cried because I wanted to give you something special.
The sheikh was deeply moved.
This is the most wonderful gift of all,
He said.
It came from your heart, and it will provide food and shade for many people.
Before leaving, the sheikh asked if he could take some of the dates with him. He promised to plant their seeds wherever he traveled so that date palms could grow all over the desert. And so, thanks to Zuleika's kind heart, date palm trees began to appear across the deserts of the Middle East. Their sweet fruit and cooling shade became a blessing to travelers and villagers alike. Zuleika's magical tree was a reminder that even the smallest act of kindness can grow into something extraordinary.